You know what it is, black and snerdy, black and snerdy, black and snerdy, black and snerdy.
You know who it is, black and snerdy, black and snerdy, black and snerdy, black and snerdy.
Ode, Maurice, Ode, Maurice.
Maurice, Ode, Maurice, Ode.
Black and snerdy, black and snerdy.
Black and snerdy, black and snerdy.
Hey, oh.
Yes, Mo?
Are you ready?
Let's go!
Black and snerdy, black and snerdy, black and snerdy, black and snerdy. It's the Black and Snerdy podcast with Odie and Maurice.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Black and Snerdy podcast. I, of course, am Maurice, aka Kid Licorish.
And I'm Odie.
And together we are the aforementioned Snerds coming to you live, large, and in charge for another edition of the Black and Snerdy podcast, episode 98. We are almost at 100, and then after 100, we're gonna keep it 100. Yep. Like each episode, we've been only telling whatever that episode number's truths. So, like, remember episode 1, you got 1% of truth. Episode 50, you got 50% of truth. At episode 100 and onward, we're gonna be 100% honest. No more bullshit. No more dancing around topics and being like, oh, I'm gonna give the nice definitions and the nice answers to things. We're gonna keep it 100%. Okay. So with that being said, how are you doing, Odie?
Feeling good. Feeling great. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm doing okay. This is an exciting week for me.
Yeah.
Because it is the last week of my job, and it is the first week of my job.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to being able to close the chapter and open a new chapter.
When one door closes, another window opens.
Yeah, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end, which is the whitest thing I've ever heard.
Are you ready for...
Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.
Are you ready for...
Ring time. Anyhow, yes, I am. We are about to do Q&A with O&M. Hit me with that sloppy-ass question.
You want me to go first? Or you
actually, I go first all the time. You go first.
How did your parents meet?
I honestly don't know.
Really?
I literally don't know. I barely know how they got... I barely know how they separated. Like, okay. Like, without telling tales out of school, I barely know how they separated.
Yeah.
Like, because, like, me and my sister growing up, we were always curious about how things ended. Mm-hmm. And my mother, we were raised by my mother. She would never tell us. And as we got older, and once we were adults, they finally told us. My mother told us one story. My dad told us another. Mm-hmm. And we just sort of had to piece together where the truth lies.
All right.
But we never, I don't think, you know what? If I'm being honest with you, and I can only speak for myself, I'm not speaking for my sister. To me, it doesn't matter how they met because it ended. Like, for me, it's hard for me from a storyteller point of view. Like, it's hard for me to care about the beginning chapters of a story if I know that the story ends dramatically. And, like, I know that's fucked up because, like, there's a lot of stories where, like, the most intriguing aspect of that story is the beginning. Yeah. There's a lot of stories that, like, have a strong beginning and then they go off the rails after that. Yeah. You know what I mean? But, like, when it came to my parents, I was not invested in being, like, I didn't see the value in being like, ooh, meet cute. How did you and daddy meet? Because, like, well, I know how, like they ended. They left each other. Yeah. It's hard for me to get invested in a couple if they fuck off from each other. If they literally, like, end their relationship. I don't give a fuck how you met. Who cares? Who can like it? Honestly, my mom and dad could have the cutest fucking meet cute story in the world. It could be the nicest, most romantic thing in the world, but I still know what happened at the end.
Yeah.
So like, what value does that have?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's not even spoiler alert, because sometimes you can have a spoiler and it doesn't matter. Like I'm gonna keep this simple. Mm-hmm. I'm a big defender of like reading spoilers because mm-hmm. like for me it's about the execution of the story. Mm-hmm. Like knowing the end or knowing the story doesn't ruin a story for me, because it's all about how the story is executed. Yeah. Like if I know the end and I watch a satisfying like beginning, middle, and then get to that end, like that's fucking great as hell. Mm-hmm. I knew the end of the first Saw movie because I Wikipedia'd it. Yeah. And then I watched the movie and I was like, this was still really good. This was a really good movie. Yeah. You know, the guy from Better Call Saul was in there. He was at the end. That was him at the end. Tobin Bell? The old guy. That's Tobin Bell. Okay, so him. But I don't think he was in Better Call Saul. That was the older man. No, that's not Tobin Bell. Look, no. I thought it was him. No, that you're thinking of the guy who plays Mike Ehrmantraut. Yeah, that's not him. Oh, that's a different guy. Him. That's a different guy. But he had it's not him. It doesn't even look like him. The thing is, he's just old and white. Well, he's got a grizzly old whiteness about. It doesn't matter. How did my parents meet? Yeah, I would say I feel opposite of you, where I am always I think that the like cultural anthropology and like the journalist in me, I always want to know all the different parts of the story because I want to know how you ended up where you were. Mm-hmm. So my parents, as you know, my dad's Nigerian, my mother's American. Yes. She's born and raised in New York. He was born and raised in Nigeria. Mm-hmm. He came here for college. Yes, she represents Queens. She was raised out in Nigeria. So she was in Long Island, I guess. Yes, I don't know. She was. Yeah. So what happened was my mom, from what I know, and this is corroborated by both of them, my mom was always in the library. Mm-hmm. My dad was always in the library. And one day, he came up to her outside of the library when he was in the parking lot. She was in the parking lot. He said hello. He asked her out. And he liked her because, like, there were black people at the school, but she was one of the few black girls he ever saw in the library. Yeah. And he was like, oh, she is about that life. Like, she's about school and her education. Miss. Exactly. He pulled a excuse me, miss. Exactly. So to his genre, black woman. He asked her out on a date, and it was kind of right after my mom had gotten out of a very serious relationship where she was engaged. Waiting in the wings, yeah. And... well, he wasn't waiting. He didn't know her. He just it was just opportune. It was an opportune moment. It was an opportune moment. And so he asked her out. They started going out. And then one day, her ex-fiance came up trying to do the whole win you back thing. And he was trying to get her. And they had like a fight in the parking lot or something like that. Like they were fighting over her. And he went out, and she was like, "No, I'm staying with him." Wait, no. When you say they had a fight, like you mean your mom and that dude? No, or... my dad and the guy. For real? Yeah, it was a big diaspora war, Haiti versus Nigeria. Now imagine. I was almost Haitian, sac passe. I don't know if that tracks. Yeah, I was almost Haitian. Like, meaning because my mother's eggs, I would have not been me in the same way, but But like your dad's sperm. Yeah, okay. So it would have been me, but not really me. Because it would have been me for my mother's eggs. But I wouldn't have had the infusion of Iberi in me, that makes me who I am. Okay, you know what? All right. Okay. But I always thought... I'm not about to argue that who has the human and who has the personality. I know. It is a. You know what? We can agree. We can agree. It is a mixture of both. But I would say that like I always enjoyed knowing their story because it was like even though they ended, and I know how they ended. Did you see it as a cautionary tale? Well,
I mean, I think it was like, I was glad to know the beginning, middle, and the end. Well, I don't really care. Well, actually, I wasn't really glad to know the end. Because it was not the greatest ending. But just like knowing how kind of in love and enamored they were with each other, I think that it was a very sweet relationship. And honestly, I think about like if my parents had gone through therapy, I think that there was a possibility, not 100%, there's a possibility that they would still be together today.
See, it's fun. We're not going to stay on this, and we're going to move on to pop culture after this. I honestly think if my parents went through therapy, they wouldn't have even dated.
Oh, that's also true.
Look, I think that my parents, when they were younger, are different than what they were now. They matured, whatever. Yeah. But I also think that, like, they've kept a lot of their core values and personality tropes and quirks and shit to the point where I'm just like, I don't think if they were well adjusted in their fucking 20s in the military,
yeah,
nah, like my dad would have ended up different, and my mom would have ended up different.
Well, either way, however they ended up and however they started, however they ended,
things
I'm
happen
glad
the way
that
they happen.
Because now we're here.
Because now, you know what? Now we're here,
And
on that we can agree. All right, so
your question. Your question.
Shit, I didn't even.
That's not your question.
All right, we're gonna have to blow past.
That's not your question.
We're gonna have to blow past this. Anyhow, when you exercise, there's no punctuation. When you exercise, which music gets you pumped up?
Me first?
No, I'll answer. Like drum music. There's nothing that makes me run harder than drum music. Cause like drum music is kill music. And there's nothing that makes me want to run away farther away from something than
possibility
drill.
Of death.
Exactly. Then just like, and that's not fair because Pop Smoke. Shout out to
R.I.P. Pop Smoke.
R.I.P. Pop Smoke. But like he's the quintessential Brooklyn drill music, but he's not like all of drill music.
Yeah.
But when I think of drill music, I think of him. But when I think of drill music nowadays, I think of like NBA Youngboy and Quando Rondo and shit like that. And
I think of like the.
But I can't name any of their songs.
I think of a mixture of the British drill because I feel like I want to say, and please listeners correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that drill music, it either started in, I think it started in London.
Yeah, no, it started in the UK.
So I think
it got
of
transferred to Chicago.
Because Pop Smoke, he kind of curated and brought to mainstream like Brooklyn drill and New York drill.
Yeah.
But I think of like the British artists like Stormzy, and then like Pop Smoke. But I mean I love all of them. For me, I would say definitely.
Actually, no. Drill music started in Southside Chicago. We go.
I was gonna say either the UK or Chicago.
I thought it was London then Chicago. No, it's Chicago. And that makes sense because Chief Keef is the first drill artist. Okay, that makes sense. That absolutely makes sense.
But I would say that for me, and obviously this is probably gonna be very.
Can I guess real quick? Can I guess what music?
Yes.
You listen to when you exercise to get you pumped up?
Yes.
It's Beyonce.
Yes.
Okay.
Give Beyonce rating.
My second guess would have been gospel.
Really? Gospel? Why gospel?
I could see you motivating yourself.
I mean, I feel like gospel is motivational.
Never would have made it without you. I can see you.
Lost it all.
Yeah, I can see you like on a treadmill, just like, and just being like,
Check on my feet, now I can dance. I just want to praise you. I just want to praise you. Yeah,
see that. I can see that.
All
That's
right,
fine.
I can see that too, honestly.
Yeah. But okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
but,
yours
but
is
no.
Drew,
First,
mine's Beyonce.
First guess, best guess.
Beyonce would, and it's like Beyonce. There's a mix that I found. I think it was from DJ Chubby Swag, and it was like a Beyonce.
Shout out to DJ Chubby Swag.
Yes. Thank you.
We're Eskimo brothers. I won't say who.
You constantly find a way to be inappropriate.
Welcome to the world of content creation.
You just constantly.
Welcome to the
you
world
find
of
it and you
creating
just poke it.
content.
Anyway,
Am I supposed to be respectable?
no, not
Because
respectful.
if I was supposed to be respectable,
That
you
would
wouldn't
not-
have deleted the portion of this that was on Instagram earlier.
No, I wanted to hear. I wanted to be here. I wanted to be here.
All right.
I want people to see it. I
Look,
want people to hear
I'm
it.
here. I'm content. Look, I'm trying to be a content king. That's all I'm. I don't want to be a short king. I just want to be a content king.
You're both.
Well, thank
Both
you.
and.
Thank you. Both and. All right.
All right, so that's all of our questions.
That's all of our quick
For now.
questions. So let's slide in. Let's electric slide into our pop culture segment.
All right, so we have had, I would say that this was like the summer, fall, spring, whatever, of breakups. There have been so many. We've talked about them. We've heard about them. But apparently, Lori Harvey and Damson Idris have broken up after 1 year of being together.
First off, I think this is the longest relationship she's been in.
No, it's not. She was engaged in, I think, 2008 to someone. I forgot who he is, but they were together for 2 years and then broke up.
Okay, well,
And she was with Michael B. Jordan for 2 years.
okay, all right. Well, you know what, dude? Like, here's what I have to say about this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think this is all speculation. We're entering the speculation station. I think she was hoping that he would get, and this is all headcanon too. Like, there are no reports that corroborate anything that I'm saying.
Yes.
I think she was hoping that he would get a Marvel deal, Marvel role, and I think it would be off the heels of Jonathan Majors' downfall.
I mean, me too. I thought he should have been a replaced Kang.
He could have been a great Kang.
Yeah. Well, they put out a joint statement.
She put out a joint statement.
They put out a joint statement that they shared exclusively with the Hollywood Reporter on Tuesday that said, "We are at a point in our lives where our individual paths require our full attention and dedication. We part ways remaining friends and nothing but love and respect for each other and the time we share together." Honestly,
Lori Harvey is black, unpregnant Kardashian.
the thing is, I don't think there's anything wrong.
No, there's nothing
with what she's been doing.
There's nothing wrong with
like
you're
she's-
fine to date whoever you want to. How old is she?
I think that. Hold on, let me check.
How old is
I
she?
want to say she's
Check how old she is.
Lori Harvey. I think she's 25 or 26.
She shouldn't be. She should be dating all these famous niggas. That's fine. And she's not getting pregnant. That's great.
Yeah, she's 26 years old.
That's fantastic.
like,
date all the famous niggas.
Date
That's
them.
great.
Because the thing about her is her stepfather is Steve Harvey.
Mm-hmm. It's still crazy to me.
It is, and she took his last name, but whatever. I'm not sure if her father is a drug dealer who her mother was with that's in jail. But I don't know. Either way, she doesn't need the money. She is having fun and enjoying herself, and I don't find anything wrong with that. She doesn't have, just because she's in a relationship with one of these Hollywood elite guys, black guys in Hollywood, that doesn't mean she has to stay with them. She's with them and then if something happens, if they decide to break up, she's like, all right, that's it. We're moving forward. And I feel like people keep trying to put her in this box and call her all sorts of names and all this stuff when it just doesn't make any sense because she's just, they're dating. What is she? What else should she be doing? She doesn't have to marry every guy she's with.
No offense, but she's a 26-year-old person. Period. Mm-hmm. And I'm a firm believer that nobody should be getting married between the age of 0 and 29.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm looking at you, all of my friends who were married. I'm not going to say your names, and I'm not going to say my family's names. But no one should be married out of high school, out of college, in their 20s.
I mean,
I will shoot you bail if you're in a long-term relationship from college to your 30s. I'll give you that. Like, I can wrap my head around the being in a committed relationship for a long time and you don't know no better. I'll give you that for sure. But nobody should be getting married in their 20s.
Statistically,
That's
people
dumb.
who get
It's
married later in life, like
Folks,
30s,
where's the lie?
people who get married 30s and up generally have longer marriages because by the time, like your 20s, if you think about it, you spend 18 years of your life under the control of your parents. You get out, you go to college. If you
That's all you know. That's all you know.
That 4 or 5
all
years
you know
of
is
college,
just like a being in a household with a specific relationship with dynamic with one other person.
And I think that's like, you could say, okay, during your college years, like those are your free years, you're trying things out, you're doing new things, but that is not the same kind of adulthood of when you are in your 30s. Because by the time you got in your 30s,
it should be exploratory.
You have you have spent so much time dating different people, enjoying your life, knowing the things you like and you dislike. And then by the time you get to your 30s, you're not, sometimes some of it is like locked in, but you are more adept or apt to find somebody who is on the level that you want to be on and is connected to you in the way that you want to be connected. And then, like, not to say that you're not going to still have to
You
work
have
through
to learn
things,
and grow.
but
with
you are
each
more
new relationship that you experience within your 20s.
Exactly. And I think that is why people who are in their 30s who get married in their 40s,
I personally hope that Lori doesn't get married until she's 35.
Me too. Let her enjoy yourself.
Let her experience
She's
it.
beautiful. She has money.
She's awesome.
She doesn't have
She's sexy.
to get herself
she's
tied
a little bit
down.
too young. Like, I feel like, no offense, but like.
Yeah, I wouldn't. 26 is just like, I think of like 25, 26, like, it's fun to have friends at that age. But I could not imagine dating a 26-year-old. So when she and Michael B. Jordan were together, I was like, okay, like, that's cool, but, like, he wants a very different life than she wants. Because it's not to say that at 30 years, like, I'm 34. We're 34. I still enjoy having fun, going out to a certain point, etc. That's not true. You can still enjoy your life at 30, in your 30s. No, but it's a different type of enjoyment.
You should slow your ass down a little bit.
I'm slower.
Like,
I'm so much slower than I was in my 20s.
No.
But that doesn't stop me from wanting to enjoy life and have fun.
No. You should slow a little bit.
But, okay, so speaking of some older people, some seasoned folk who are living life and enjoying themselves, Jennifer Hudson, who's 42, is allegedly dating Common, who's 51. They've been spotted out together, holding hands. She said in an interview with CBS Morning, Gayle King, she said, I'm very happy, and they have a very nice relationship with someone who shall remain nameless. And, you know, honestly, I think Common's community dick. He's been around. People.
So, okay.
No, this is the thing.
Common is the Lori Harvey of black men.
But that's the thing. People will look at Lori Harvey and they're constantly throwing shade at her, being rude, being obnoxious. When Common has literally fumbled the bag.
No.
He has fumbled the bag.
Is it fumbling or is he just being Lori Harvey?
No.
I don't think he's.
Because the thing is,
I don't think he's fumbling.
I think there's a difference when
How is he fumbling the bag if he's just getting with these women?
When a 26-year-old is like going and dating and
I don't
going
think
on
either. I don't think either of these individuals are fumbling.
All I want to say is that people look at Lori Harvey and always have so much to say about her.
Yeah.
But Common can go in and out of all these relationships with all these different high-powered black women in Hollywood and
it's almost as if
nobody cares.
It's almost as if we live in a patriarchy. Now, here's the thing. Do you want to hear the list? You want to hear the list?
Yes.
Kim Jones.
Who's that?
Kim Jones, she
Because he has a daughter, doesn't he? He has a child.
yeah, he has they had a daughter. I'm not gonna say the daughter's name.
Let me see.
I'm not gonna say the daughter's name. That's the daughter's name.
Because you can't pronounce it?
Either. I don't want to say a child's name in this. All right. Erykah Badu.
Fumble.
These are all Common's relationships. Kim Jones, Erykah Badu, Taraji P. Henson,
Fumbled.
Serena Williams,
Fumbled.
Angela Ree.
Yee. Fumbled.
Fine, Angela Yee.
This is the thing.
Silent letters. Gladys. It took me.
Continue the list.
Do you know how long it took
I know
me
it. I know.
to pronounce that W so that it just sounds like I don't pronounce it? Tiffany Haddish.
Ugh.
And now Jennifer Hudson.
Well, I hope that y'all have. I wish you the best of luck for your relationship, and whatever you want.
I wonder if he puts up. Yeah, I did it again, and again, and I don't have the drop. Another one, and another one, and you have to sit here and deal with it. Another one. I wonder if he this isn't worth it. We need to keep going. Shout out to them.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
But Common is the Lori Harvey of
because
black
honestly,
men. No,
I
he
think
is.
Lori Harvey is breaking up with these men, and Common is being broken up with.
I don't think Common is being.
I think he's being broken up with.
Look, of the names that I said, I think fine. I'll give them half. Half are dumping him.
Except for
half
Tiffany
he's
Haddish
leaving.
and Kim Jones, I think that he's been
Sure. All right.
All right, so something that has come up recently, which is very disturbing. Kiki Palmer, we love Kiki. She's been around. We've grown up with her.
I did want to ask a quick question. Kiki, do you love me? Are you writing? You never really go beside me. All right, that's
Are you done?
Yeah,
This is a serious story.
I can't.
It's a serious story.
So
get all your jokes out before I get into it.
It is. It is a serious story.
Are you done?
I'm still gonna get jokes out anyway. Go.
Kiki Palmer, if you remember, she was in a relationship with Darius Jackson. They have a baby. Their relationship has been known for a while. She had the baby, but you know that like a few months ago or sometime this summer, Kiki Palmer went to the Usher show in Las Vegas at his residency. He was singing to her, which is a part of the show. He does it with everybody in the show. And Darius got online and was like flaming her.
Sure.
A bunch of then all the incels decided they wanted to flame her as well.
Yes.
But recently it came out, within this last week, it came out that she has requested a restraining order against him, which she got, and full custody of her son, which she got, because she has claimed that he has been physically and emotionally abusive to her, both in front of and away from her son. There were some clips that came out, or screen grabs that came out of security footage from around her home with cameras of him dragging her, and obviously them being in a physical fight. And it was honestly very sad and very triggering to watch. She said that he is unhinged, volatile, and dangerous, and that because of their son Leo, she was finally able to end the abusive relationship with Darius once and for all and escape the abuse, because Leo is the most important thing in the entire world to me. He needs and deserves to be safe and grow up in an environment free from violence.
So, real quick, I would be remiss if I didn't point this out.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's good that she got a restraining order.
Yeah.
It is super easy to get a restraining order, and I want our listeners to know that, like, you can get a restraining order on anybody.
Yeah.
Like,
I've gotten restraining orders.
I've gotten a restraining order.
Yeah. You can just
it's super easy,
and it's
super easy. I got a restraining order on somebody that I didn't think they would harm me. I just was like, I'm tired of them reaching out to me and asking me to hang out with them and go to brunch and shit.
I mean, the thing is, I'm so proud of her. We are so proud of you, Kiki.
I don't want to go to brunch.
For standing up for yourself, for doing what needs to be done so that you can be safe, your son can be safe. Because here's the thing. A person who is okay being violent and emotionally, physically abusive to you in front of your child can easily turn that violence and abuse onto the child. And there were some things that came out. Kiki Palmer's mom came out and spoke about this, which I was like, Kiki Palmer's mom never speaks about anything.
I've never heard from Kiki Palmer's.
I don't know. Heard from her mother.
Kiki
if it wasn't for I've seen her in pictures and all that, but this is the first time in my life I've ever heard about her. By the way. She's gorgeous. She's talented.
She got them,
and she does not deserve.
I didn't say anything negative. I said she got them.
She does not
it's
deserve.
It's the equivalent of saying that's him. You know what I mean?
We are talking about domestic abuse.
Yes,
so
I know that
we do not need you to be complimenting her on anything else besides her courage and strength and bravery.
I think that
of getting out of this situation. And no, it is not.
I agree with you. I do agree with you. I also think that is the fundamental difference between the two of us. So, and that's fine.
Anyway, Darius's brother, who you might know as Serranis, who played Dre on Insecure, who had gotten into some scandals himself because he impregnated one of his castmates and had a girlfriend at the time, and she didn't find out until the Shade Room posted up that he was having a baby. He had posted up some tweets basically saying, this person is so abusive and vile and they shouldn't be around children, blah, blah, blah. And it sounded very victim blamey, and her mom came out and spoke about that and basically was like, you're abusive too. We've heard about the stories of you. He shot them down, said they weren't true. Some text messages have come out from Darius's mother because allegedly Kiki Palmer's mom said she was going to get the gat if he put his hands on her. If he put his hands on her daughter again, and his mother was like, "Oh, now since you want to threaten my son with violence, I'm gonna call the police." And I just want to say, if your child is abusing their partner, you are on the wrong side of history if you are not doing anything but telling your child they need to get their act together, get themselves some therapy, and get help. There's never a reason for you to be siding with your child when you know that they are abusing someone.
I hope everybody on the other side of my family heard everything that she just said.
It's just true.
Because y'all siding with the wrong nigga. Just call a spade a spade.
You could not.
Y'all siding with the wrong nigga. I'm the black sheep and I'm the victim. Fuck off. Eat a dick.
You could not love someone and not hold them accountable.
We can move on.
Regardless of who they are.
We can move on.
Next, I would like to talk about another recent divorce that thankfully has had way less scandalous and unfortunate circumstances. But Jeezy and Jeannie Mai, we've talked about, they are going through a divorce right now. So recently, Nia Long and Jeezy had a conversation, and they were talking about his divorce, what happened, etc. Now I will say, to his credit, he never said one bad thing about Jeannie Mai.
I know and that's the beauty of this interview.
He never said one bad thing, which I think is so commendable, because I do not think that if you are in a relationship with someone and you break up, you should not publicly slander them.
Yeah.
To your peers, to your friends. Obviously, if they're doing something abusive, that's different. But you should not slander them because at the end of the day, this was a relationship that you two had together, and it broke up for whatever reasons, and you have to be, and especially if you have a child, you have to be able to work through that.
Sure.
So you're not holding on grudges that are going to be keeping you and this person in a negative space.
Yeah, I agree that if you are in a relationship and you divorce and you find yourself in front of Nia Long, then you have to be
well.
like,
there's
on
a
the
Jeezy
same
song
level. That interview that they had.
I feel like there was like, are they going to be?
No, Jeezy was shooting his shot.
Yeah, oh, of course.
That was all. That whole interview was essentially just Jeezy. Like, there was one section of the interview where she was like, "I think that essentially black men cheat," and he was like, "Oh, word."
Well, he put
For
out
real?
a song that said,
No,
who said real
here's the
men
thing.
don't cheat.
Real men don't cheat. Real men don't
He
cheat.
said that.
Yeah. And
Now, I'm curious because
and I'm like, shoot your shot. I respect the shit out of that.
There are some rumors that allegedly Jenna may have had an inappropriate relationship with what's his name from Saved by the Bell, the Latinx guy. What's his name? Oh my God, it just popped out of my head. Hold on.
Not Marco Rubio.
No, it's not Mario Lopez.
Mario Lopez.
Allegedly, there's rumors. We don't know if that's true. It's rumors.
Yo, for the record, it's crazy to cheat on Jeezy with Mario Lopez.
Come on. But
That's
Jeezy
crazy.
has a song called Nothing to Prove where he says, ever see Nia Long, I'm getting at her. I use the kitchen fork to mix the batter.
Yeah.
That part's not relevant. But
No, it doesn't matter.
we know that Jeezy has
turns out that rhymes. It doesn't
Jeezy
matter.
has liked Nia Long for a very long time, which I'm
We've
sure
every black man has
every
liked
black person.
Nia Long.
If
Are
Nia
you
Long
kidding
would
me?
give me a chance,
She is like on my
she's on a list.
She's on my Rushmore.
She's
my Rushmore of
gorgeous.
black women.
She's talented.
It's Nia Long,
she's funny.
Sanaa Lathan, Kerry Washington, and Vivica A. Fox.
That's a good Mount Rushmore.
It is my Mount
That's a good Mount
Rushmore.
Rushmore. You know what? I would think I would trade.
I might swap out Kerry Washington for somebody.
I would trade Vivica Fox for Angela Bassett.
No, I like Angela Bassett. I love Angela Bassett. No offense, but she's aged out of the Mount Rushmore.
Oh, we're being ageist?
I am.
Here? Well,
I am.
He said it, not me.
I am.
He said it. You heard him.
I am. No offense. I can't watch Wakanda Forever and look at her being so distinguished and commanding a room and just being a powerful force and being like, ooh, I'm gonna choreograph that. You know what I mean? Like that's a different thing. So I push that to the side, and then I'm like, all right, Kerry Washington, get your ass over here.
All right, so that's what we have for like relationship news. Well, kind of. So if you know, I've talked about this a few times on the podcast. I was recently listening to Britney Spears' memoir, I Am a Woman, or The Woman I Am, or something like that.
I Am a Woman.
Let me see. Wait, hold on.
Were you just saying that as a thing that you are, or were you just reading the title?
No, I think it's. I was
Or
trying
a little bit of both.
The woman
It's okay
in
if
the
it's a
woman
little bit.
in me.
No,
I was
it's the
trying
woman
to.
in
I was trying to
me.
remember the name of it. Okay, so that has come out and has sparked a lot of controversy because some of the things that she mentioned, and recently, Timbaland, who has worked with Justin Timberlake a lot.
Timbaland.
Yes. What did I say?
No, I wasn't correcting.
okay.
You. I was just saying his name.
He's worked with Justin Timberlake. Fun fact: Genuine actually got upset with Timberland because he said that he was focusing more on his white artist Justin Timberlake than he was on his music. That's something that's happened. But recently he was in conversation, And he had some thoughts on Britney Spears' memoir. Can you please play them?
I will. I will play them right now. Hold up.
Wait.
Word. Met me with that bullshit. Here we go. This is what Timbaland said.
Crimea River is making headlines again because of Britney's memoir. She's saying that
she's going crazy, right? I want to call some JT, man. You got to put a muzzle on that girl.
Now, he has since apologized. Allegedly, Missy called him and told him that he needed to apologize to her. Thankfully, some people have friends who call them in and say you need to get your act together. But I think it's very telling that within Britney's memoir, she talks about how she's constantly being silenced, not treated as a person, and having her humanity put into question and constantly under a microscope for the world. And I think that it is very rude and degrading for a man to say that you need to put a muzzle on a woman because she is telling the truth. Because it is not as if she is making up lies. She is talking about something that happened. And what happened was Justin broke up with her, and not only broke up with her, he told her she had to have a secret abortion in her home, and then afterwards broke up with her and wrote an album about how terrible she was, even though he had been cheating and philandering and doing all these things so that the world would see her as a villain and he could promote his album. And that is an issue. That is a problem. We saw him do the same thing with Janet Jackson after the Super Bowl. And he has been trying to skirt around these very real issues that we have with him because he does not want to take accountability. And then you have men like Timbaland who are going to enable him to continue with poor behavior because they want to continue making the music and not having anyone call them out, which is bullshit. It's misogynistic. It's in poor taste, and it's disgusting.
Well, if we're just being direct about it, it's all wrong. It's all fucked. It's all fucked up. It's hard for me to find humor when it's just directly stated the way that it is.
Well, I mean, it's hard to find humor in it because she has had such an unfortunate...
we could have clowned Timbaland or something.
I mean, first of all, Timbaland has been saying weird, shady shit for a while.
Yeah,
and
that could have been the fuel for
Aaliyah
discussion.
and
yes.
loving her.
Yes,
and all
agreed.
That stuff.
Agreed. I agree with you.
He has been able to skate around his negative bullshit for years.
Agreed.
And
I agree with you.
Anymore.
I agree. But I will not sit here and present a counter argument to anything that you just said.
Because there's no what could the counter argument be? He made good beats.
If
it was not for Missy,
Timbaland
would not be a thing.
What could the counter argument be?
He has built his career on the backs of women.
Yes. Yeah.
And that is just what it is.
No, we're agree. We're in agreement. Dudes are being propped up by women and then throwing shade at women. Fucking patriarchal bullshit.
Do better. Do better, Senator.
Yes, you've got to do better, Senator. Yes, agreed. Yes.
Okay, so some personal but non-relationship news, I could say. Yvonne Orji, my Nigerian sister, she is talking about she was talking about her personal life. on the Dear Chelsea podcast with Chelsea Handler. And if you don't know anything about Yvonne Orji, you should know.
She was on Insecure. She was the best friend in Insecure.
Yes. She is also 39 years old and a virgin because she is waiting for marriage. And she said on the podcast that she is definitely like having pent up energy about this. Because I mean, you know, in your 30s, you know, you start reaching your sexual peak. And I'm just very curious for people who are in their late 30s, 40s, 50s who are virgins. I'm curious what the reasoning is.
Okay.
Because she's waiting, but the reason she has a reason, and she's waiting for marriage. She has always been very open about that. She's Christian. She believes in that.
She has been open about that. And you know what? But here's my thing. This is my only thing. Like, for everybody who is in their late 20s, early 30s, late 30s, what have you, like, if you're, like, waiting for marriage to have sex, I gotta tell you, if you're anybody... I'll even put this out to teenagers. If you're waiting to be married to have sex, that's
setting yourself up for failure.
You're setting yourself up for failure because, like, you're not. You learn a skill by practice.
Yeah.
That's any skill that exists. Anything. You learn playing the piano by practice. You learn podcasting, ideally, by practice. You learn fucking guitar by practice. You learn swimming by practice. You learn doing different things by the amount of time that you spend on the thing.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, the more you wait to do sex, it's going to be trash for you.
Or the other person.
Even if the other person is experienced, and first off, there are two routes that this could go.
Mm-hmm.
It could go, A, the person that they end up with is experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they can guide them into a pleasurable sexual experience. It's going to be trash still. The first time is always going to be trash. The first time is horrible. It's like no one puts the first time on their Mount Rushmore. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like no one. Me, Odie,
Nobody
puts that. No one ever says that, like, oh, my first time was the dopest fucking experience ever.
It's rare. It's so rare. It's like 2% of people.
I don't even think it's rare. I don't think it's a thing that happens, because the first time is literally like it's oochie ouchie bullshit. Assuming that they are experienced.
Yeah.
It's oochie ouchie.
Well, I think that on one hand, if the partner is experienced, they will help in a sense to guide you through it.
Yeah.
But
and
I
even
think
then,
that, like,
it's still oochie ouchie.
I think that the person who's experienced is the one who's getting the short end of the stick. Because, like, say that, okay, after the first time when that hurts and you move forward, the second, third, blah, 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 blah times,
you're still on the back end learning.
The person who's experienced is now on having to teach you things.
Exactly.
And so for them, it's going to be mid. For you, it could be amazing because you have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. You have no frame of reference. You have no context.
So for you,
you
be
just
great.
have like, oh my goodness, this is the best dick I've ever had. And for them, they're just like, and this is.
You want to know what? You want to know something?
This is mid.
I think that so many.
Or vice versa. It could be like, oh, this is the first pussy I've ever had. Like, it's good.
But
or whatever in the middle, in between, regardless, because we're a part of the LGBT family.
So many men want women to be virgins when they have sex because then they have no frame of reference of what good sex is.
Is that true
I believe
anymore?
it. I
don't
believe
think that's
no.
true.
I think it is
No,
still true.
I don't think that's true anymore.
I do.
I don't think that's true anymore.
Because it's
I
not-
don't think that's true.
unless you-
I think that was true when we were in our 20s.
No, I think it's
I don't
still
think that's
true.
true in our 30s.
Listen, I'm
I
not
don't think that's
talking
true in our
about
30s.
the average man who is well adjusted and wants a relationship.
think-
I'm talking about these incels who are constantly commenting on what women are doing with their
I don't
bodies.
think they exist.
I do. I see them online all the time. What do you mean? They are there.
What I will give you is the incels who want a specific number that is not double digits and lower than 5.
There are men.
They won't even
who
accept
want-
5. They will
but
say,
even
"Oh,
then,
I will
if
accept
you don't want,
4 bodies on
if
you."
you don't want your
I don't think
partner,
I don't think
to
anybody
have,
wants a virgin.
No, there are. For one, you're wrong. There are plenty.
I think maybe
there are
maybe there's
plenty
white
of
people, but
men. There are plenty of men who still want virgins. Number one, and two,
no.
yes. How
Men?
Yes.
Like men, like guy.
Yes.
Men.
Men.
Human being males.
Are you not
Men.
online? Are you not online?
I'm
Do you
online
not
all the
see
time.
Conversations.
I'm online.
You
and
don't
I'm
see-
seeing these shits.
Apparently not, because if I'm seeing,
I
men,
don't.
I see men
you know what?
online.
The purity aspect
talking
died out
about
3 years
that's
ago.
not true. That is
Yes,
not
it did.
true. That is not
In
true.
the men
at
circles
all.
that I have seen, the purity aspect died out.
Whether
like
if
3
a
years
man
ago, and they've been
only
wanting,
wants you to
like,
have 0
For
to 5
best,
partners,
some experience,
from
but
0
they're
to
still
5,
insecure
that is still
about having a lot of experience.
Because
so they're
if
like,
they don't want you
0
to have
5.
experience because they don't want you to know how terrible they are. If you are 35 years old and you have only had 5 sexual partners, that is not a great range.
It's not a great.
For
I
you
agree
to
with
say
you that it's
what
not a great
is good
range.
and what
I'm
isn't.
just saying.
And so there are plenty of men who want you to have such a low number.
I push back
because they.
I agree
are
with you
you
that there. No,
are you caping for the incels right now?
I push back that there are plenty of men who want a low number.
I'm talking about the men who talk
on,
about they want a low number or they
what
want a virgin.
What I
because
push
they want,
that's what I push back on. I push back on the idea that they want a virgin. I think it's evolved. They don't want a virgin, but they don't want a high number. I think they want a low number.
But either way,
I think they want.
Why?
It's not either way. There's a difference between a virgin and someone who's fucked 2 people.
Why do they want a low number?
Want a low number?
Why do they want a low number?
Oh, I agree. Here's the thing. I agree with you. They don't want there to be
that they don't want them to have a good amount of experience
so that they can come in.
So regardless, whether
it's not
0
regardless
to
because
5,
it's different from virgin to a low number.
I think
that's what I'm pointing back on.
Below 5 out of 35 is basically a virgin.
It's not basically a virgin.
It's basically a virgin.
No, it's a virgin is a virgin is a virgin.
That's not true. Because how many? I don't know about where you went to school, but there were plenty of virgins.
I went to Catholic school, so I've had a bunch of virgins who did it in the butt.
Who were doing it in the butt. Some things where we're going.
Shout out
wrong.
to you. I'm not gonna say your name, but shout out to you two individuals who had promise rings. Shout out to y'all, and flaunted it around campus, who were just like, yo, like me and my band, we have the promise rings, and then literally made it clear that like y'all were like also fucking in the butt.
So many people that I knew that
and it's fine, it's okay.
Had the promise ring ceremony were also fucking.
Yeah, just like y'all were hand jobbing and
all over the
sucking
place.
dick.
They were sucking,
it's
they were fucking, they were doing all this stuff.
I'm just saying, like, there is a difference between low number and virgin.
Well,
virgin is one thing, low number is another thing.
Speaking of doing it in the butt.
No. Speaking of nothing, because no.
What are you talking about?
No.
We have 6 minutes to go. At bare minimum, 6 minutes. I'm already talking about it. You're interrupting me, and I could have already gotten to the story.
I didn't think you were gonna. Otherwise, I would have told you to disregard this.
You should have told me.
I don't have any boards to tell me it's fine. I think we should skip the story.
All right, see you later, guys, because we're not doing any more stories because he doesn't want to do any more. So, see you later. Come back for our mental health section. Since the master of ooh has decided.
Yes, agreed. Thank you.
You're listening to the Black and Snerdy podcast.
We now return to the Black and Snerdy podcast.
From the moment I saw you, I went out of my mind. I never believed. No, I never. I never believed that love at first sight. But you got the magic, boy. Okay, sorry. All right, I'm fucking this up. And Whitney Houston deserves more respect than what I'm giving it.
She does.
She deserves more respect. And all right. Okay, how about this? This is what I'll do. Your love is my love, and my love is your love. It will take everything to break up. Okay, that's even worse.
That was worse. What about one of my favorites?
What's your favorite? Oh, I don't know that.
If you're worried about where I've been or who I saw,
well, another winter, my homies, baby, you worried, they know that you got me. Ain't no worry about where I've been or who I saw. All the winter with my homies, baby, don't worry, you know
that you got
okay.
me.
Oh no, I should have prepared for that.
I don't know why. I thought you were going to do it. We've been playing it enough times.
All right, it's fine. Okay, here we go. I'll do the one verse. How about that?
Okay.
I'll do the one verse. Hit us up with the chorus.
If you don't worry about where I've been or who I saw, what club I went to with my homies, baby, don't worry, you know that you got me. I've been away around.
What club I went to with my homies, baby, don't worry.
You know that you
Somebody told me that the
Think
planet
so?
was somebody told me that the planet was soft. We used to live in the same building on the same floor and never met before until I saw the Caesar on tour in Ethiopia, Queen Ethiopia. Oh,
No, that's
look, I'm no Black Thought.
That's
Black Thought is dope.
enough.
Black Thought is dope. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I think that you need to practice these songs before we start.
Yes, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I should practice these songs before I go on live recording, but I usually do the chorus anyway, so it doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter.
But
It's
you
fun.
never know the chorus.
I did know the chorus. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Hey, how are you doing? What is up with... You know what?
Are we jumping in?
First off, welcome back to the Black and Snerdy podcast. I am Maurice, a.k.a. Kid Licorish, and this is Ode.
I'm Ode.
Yes, she's over here. And we are going to dive into our mental health section because we are mental health advocates, not experts. And we are all about self-care. And we're all about mental health and shit.
Yeah.
So how are you doing with your mental health and self-care? Oh, wait, but we always start off with a question.
All right. What's your favorite quote?
You either die a hero or live long... No, actually, no. Because that's the quote that I'm going to tell my dad when he comes to visit. It's fine. This is clearly, none of this is clearly coming out when it should, and it's fine, but it's whatever. But my favorite quote is that I just keep pushing forward.
Who is that?
That is from Attack on Titan, from one of the best animes that has ever existed. The finale
It was a really good finale.
It was really good.
And I've only seen half the show.
She didn't even know the middle parts. Like, she saw, like, the beginning where I feel like you only saw the Titan part.
No, first 2 seasons.
No, you didn't see the first 2 seasons.
Yeah. We didn't get to the second season?
No.
That was a lot that happened in the first season.
You only saw the first season. Like, where, like... It was like, I feel like the only thing that you saw was like, I feel like you were introduced to this world, Titans exist, and then you got introduced to like the idea that like humans could be turned into Titans.
Yes.
And then you were introduced to the idea that like, oh, this woman who is close to the military is also a Titan shifter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's all you got. That's all you got. That's all you got.
I watched was Eren. He learned he could turn into a Titan, and then
that's all you got. You didn't even get the middle part where like it's
I saw
really,
some of the middle part.
It's really interesting. It's a really good.
I've seen some of the middle part. I honestly, after seeing the series, the last final season. I am definitely open to watching the middle part.
It's
even
really
though
good.
I do not like
it's really good.
The whole zombie aspect of people eating.
The funny thing is, the middle part has none. Well,
but
I won't say it has none of that, but like,
it takes so long to get there.
The story focuses away from that. It's like, oh, you thought that the whole world was about Titans? Turns out,
JK, you were lied to.
Yeah. So.
One of my favorite quotes is by Ida B. Wells, and it's, "The people must know before they can act, and there is no educator to compare with the press." If you don't know, Ida B. Wells was would you say that's turn of the century?
Yes.
A turn of the century
journalist? I would say turn of the century.
She was born at the end of slavery, became a journalist, owned her own newspaper, wrote about lynchings and misogyny and sexism, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. One of the founders of the NAACP, but they never wanted to give her props because they thought she was too militant, which happens all the time, especially for women.
I mean,
but all these people, W.B. Du Bois and all them,
you're speaking truths, you should be very soft.
But
like how dare you be militant and speak truths in the field of journalism, which is literally the news for the world and the people. They
didn't like that. She did a lot of work on anti-lynching and activism against anti-blackness, feminism, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's something that I think I keep with me all the time, and I think that is very apropos of all the things that are currently happening in the world, whether you're talking about Israel, Gaza, Congo, Sudan, Ethiopia, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There are so many places.
Turns out on this earth, there's a lot of
shit going on.
There's a lot of shit going on.
You cannot know unless you are educated, and the press are the people who are educating you, which is why, say for instance, in Gaza, the press, the journalists are some of the people being targeted and murdered, because when people do not want you to know something, they will try their hardest to stifle the voices who are giving you the truth. And as someone who, like, in my dream of dreams, always wanted to be a war correspondent, because I feel like those are the stories that interest me the most. And Ida B. Wells is definitely she's like my patron saint of journalism. because I think she creates so many of what we are working with right now in the sense of like activism, and these like civic journalists. That is what she did, and if you read her, she has books you could read, and she just was an amazing writer and just investigative reporter. And I take were her words to heart. So that's definitely one of my favorite quotes.
All right.
All right. So now we have gone through our questions portion. Tell me, how are you doing this week?
Not great.
Because you're in your blue period.
Yes, I am in the midst of my blue period. I'll keep this short and succinct. I'm in my blue period. I've been in my blue period for a very long time. I don't have medication to help regulate that. All I have is the therapy that I have done previously to help mitigate that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a proponent of therapy. Therapy is
It's great. It's dope.
is dope, and it's great, and it's fine. You have to be willing to use the tools that have been given to you on a daily basis. You have to like literally wake up and acknowledge that like I have a fucking brain disorder that
It's
like
trolling.
I have to monitor and mitigate, and I have to move accordingly.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people do that, and that's fine. It is what it is. But, like, I personally take the onus of that, take the accountability of that, and I roll with it, and I accept what it is, and I do what I need to do to progress forward. It's hard. Hopefully, within the next few weeks, I can get on some pills that will even me out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could just be a normal person.
But being normal is boring.
Fine, I could be a regulated person.
A regulated.
I'll put it that way. I will be a regulated person.
I have a question.
Sure.
So, do you ever think, because say for in the, I know that bipolar disorder and ADHD, there's overlaps, but there's differences.
Mm-hmm.
But some people will argue that our society is not built for people who are different in the way that they think and behave, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever think that, like, the medications that we take to make us feel normal are also dulling us down, and in the ways that, like, say, for instance, pre this current society, the people were born with certain different type of brains, and they were used in different parts of society that were different, and they were useful there. And that now, because of the society that we're in, that's all about like production and being like, a quote unquote valuable person in society, that our brains are not seen as important. Do you think that sometimes the medication we're taking that is dulling, is changing some ways of being, and for some people dulling who they are as a person? Do you ever feel like that is a negative?
First off, that question is wild. It's all over the place. No offense. You're my friend and I love you. But that question is all over the place. It's not a straightforward question. And it's okay. I don't think that the medication that we are taking currently is dulling is stifling the creativity that exists within the individuals. I don't think that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can only speak for myself. When I'm on my medication, I used to think that it would do that thing, but it doesn't. Like, it just, helps with harnessing the extreme emotions that either the mania or the depression has. It doesn't affect the creativity. It doesn't make me a zombie.
Yeah.
I'm not a zombie. I'm not a zombie.
I'm curious. Because
I am.
I would say when I was taking, I have been unmedicated for some years now, not due to choice, but just I've been unmedicated. And I remember before I got on medication, I was worried that it would make me feel like a zombie.
I was worried about that as well, but
that was something that I thought.
It didn't do that.
But I definitely think that the people that I know who say they felt like zombies, it's because they were taking it as children. And I think that there's a difference. I think
there's an argument for that as well.
Because I think that when you for me, I have gone through my whole life feeling my feelings, and I've had to feel my feelings, and I've had to adjust and change and know how to regulate those emotions within who I am right now. And I'm curious if people who are, and I would say fortunate enough, but when you have been diagnosed with something much earlier.
Why is this the hardest thing in the world?
That you have to, and you're being you're being medicated, that it can, when you're medicated when you're younger, you don't have.
I know where you're coming from, but what I'm saying is this: from my experience, I had that fear. It does not dull the creativity that exists within you. You are you. Mm-hmm. You are the person that is experiencing all the things that is creating the creativity that is coming from you. Mm-hmm. The medication that you are taking is literally just regulating the extreme emotions that you're feeling. It is not warping your brain to make it a fucking mashed potato. It's not. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just not. I can't speak for everybody. I can only speak for myself. The medication wasn't doing that. I was concerned that was what was happening, but it was not happening. Mm. After a while, I realized that that's not what was happening. Mm-hmm. And I moved forward accordingly. Mm-hmm. So that's what that is. Okay. What about you? What was the question? The question was.
No, we did.
Oh yeah, we already did the question.
What's your favorite quote? We did that one.
Yeah.
I would say for me this week, I've been feeling a mixture of emotions. I've been having some interesting situations at work. Mm-hmm. That and not with everyone, but with a very specific person that has been causing me angst, especially because I know that right now it's a very volatile time in most corporations, and having someone who is not my manager but also is capable of giving me feedback, etc. And I feel like there's been a disconnect between us, and also some condescension, which I do not like, and some putting some
white ladies in charge.
Yeah, white women in charge is difficult for me because for me personally, I remember before I got into the workforce, into the real workforce, having people say oh, I hate when I have
There's a reason why you're not running the country.
This type of person, causes
and I'm
me
not
a lot
being
of
sexist.
Stress. And I would say that I personally, I've had issues. Most of the issues I've had at work, in my work career, have been with women.
White women?
Most of them white women, some of them black women. but most of them white women.
Well, if you're in a corporate sphere,
You're going to have to face a lot of white women.
No. Here's what I'm saying is, if you're in a corporate sphere and you meet black women, no offense, sadly there is a crab in the bucket mentality still that exists.
But I would say honestly, when I've worked at places that were
It's
predominantly
changing. It's changing.
That the black people there have been better than when I've worked at specifically black places. But I just feel like I've been having some difficulties with the white woman employee.
But white women in charge are
works with
awful.
And it's not
they're
even
all
that.
I would say they're all awful. All of them.
But the thing is that she's not even she's not in charge of me.
Middle management.
She is on my same level, but like we work very closely together. And I have been having difficulties with her because for me, my issue is if you see something, you say something. If you have an issue with me, say it clearly, directly, and distinctly. Do not try to be condescending. Do not be patronizing, and do not make assumptions. Because if you make an assumption and then you make a snarky remark connected to that assumption, then that makes me not want to work with you.
Yeah. Talk to me nice.
Talk to me nice. And that is a difficulty that I've been facing this week. But I have been reading this really good book on Audible called Crucial Conversations. And it just talks about how it's important for you to say how you feel, talk about how you feel, and get your point across in a way that is both going to be actionable, but also in service of you. Because my therapist has told me this many times, that keeping things to yourself only is harmful to you because it causes you to you're holding stress in your body. And especially as black women, there's already enough stress that we deal with day to day that we shouldn't be holding on more to us. So that's something I've been dealing with, but I will say that like I am grateful to my therapist for working through that with me. I'm also grateful to some of the one of my work besties who has been both affirming to me that I'm not crazy, because I think that what happened for me, my main thing at work is I always want to be accountable, and regardless of if there's any outside mitigating factors, I'm never gonna say, oh, it's because of X. This is what happened. It's just like if someone tells me, oh, you did something, I want to figure it out, fix it, and move forward. But I've been also recognizing that there's a pattern that I've had where people have been rude or disrespectful to me, and I try to change my behavior and my sort of communication, etc., to try and find ways of fixing the relationship. But I cannot do that on my own, and I have to sometimes have those uncomfortable conversations, which I don't want to have, because even when you're working in corporate spaces, like there have been times where I have said, oh, you know what? I'm going to speak up for myself. I speak up for myself, and then things go awry. And that's not where I would like to be. But also, I recognize if I do not speak up and say, hey, I think our communication needs to change, that I'm going to be the one who is miserable and frustrated, and they're just going to continue going on with their life. So that's kind of where I am this week. Mm-hmm. I feel mixed feelings about this. Like I'm not going to say that I feel okay. I hate having to defend myself at work in whatever way that might be. But I also recognize that it is important that I speak up and say something, because I don't want to be miserable at work, but I also don't want someone else to think they have any power or say over what I'm doing or who I am, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, if you're working a drone job, I'm not saying that that's what you're doing, but if you're working a drone job Like, you should have the space to be able to work it in a way that you feel comfortable with going into that job.
Yeah. Because you spend so much time at work.
And in a way where you feel heard when there is constructive criticism.
Because
yes,
you spend so much time at work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, to me, I love getting feedback. I want to know that, like at work, I want to know what I'm doing, how well I'm doing at it, and how I can do better moving forward. What I don't like and don't want is someone putting something on me that I am not doing because they're making assumptions. And I think that's like the key thing for me. Do not make assumptions about me regarding anything.
Okay. Don't put assumptions on you.
But yeah, that's just how I'm feeling.
Okay.
Are you ready to move into
the
things that made us angry this
week? For sure.
Bringing it. What? We gripe it. We're not griping anywhere else. We gripe it. This safe space for us to share. We gripe it. We ain't griping anywhere else. We gripe it.
So what's griping you?
I went first last time.
Okay. So, all right. So first off, this is what I will say. Family members. I'm directing this at family members. I'm not saying specifically what family members or who. It doesn't matter who. Mm-hmm. I'm just, if you're related to me, look. I love all y'all. And I want all of us to be close and tight. Mm-hmm. Stop creating friction.
Mm-hmm. Where there doesn't need to be.
Stop creating friction where there doesn't need. Like, okay. Every member of my family who is older than, if they were born before 1985, all of y'all need therapy.
Of course.
Y'all all need therapy.
And the ones born after.
No,
everybody.
Yeah. First off, the ones who were born after know that they need therapy and they should get it. The ones who were born after 1985, before 1985,
you need it. Go.
Y'all need therapy.
Intensive.
All of y'all.
Intensive therapy.
Aunts, uncles, parents.
Oh,
Jinx, you owe me
I said it first. You owe me a soda.
Fine, I owe you a soda. But y'all all need fucking therapy. Because here's the thing. Now, I'm spending my holidays fucking pulling a Loki and collecting all of the various strands of the multiverse to bend them to. I am now becoming He Who Remains. Spoiler for the season finale of Loki. I am now He Who Remains. I am He Who Remains. Mm-hmm. And now I am picking up all the pieces of the bullshit that y'all are doing to try to make things better. Because y'all don't go to fucking therapy. None of y'all go to fucking therapy. Go to fucking therapy. I'm not your fucking therapist. Mm-hmm. Now I gotta fucking trick y'all to come over here, hang out with me, and have a fucking... It's gonna be a conversation that's, we're all gonna be intoxicated, and then I'm gonna have to be the one to be like, so hey, you did some fuck shit recently, and maybe don't do that. Like,
let's talk about it.
Let's talk that out.
It's gonna
like, because I'm no teacher. I'm an advocate, not an expert. I'm never gonna sit here and tell you what you should do, except for right now when I'm telling you to go to fucking therapy. Like, in person, I'm gonna be like, yo, let's talk this out. Let's get to the root of this shit. But like, overall, the overall arcing statement is that y'all need therapy. You need help. I I grieve different. I grieve different from y'all. Because y'all niggas don't grieve. Next. So, okay. I have to bring this up. And I have to be very coy and specific and everything like that. Okay. If you are the kind of person in your family who does incestuous shit to upset, just literally to upset your other family members, stop doing that. Knock it off. I can't be specific from the nature of this. There's a very specific person that I'm referring to, and I wish I could be more direct, but that nigga is older than me. He's older than me and taller than me. And I feel like there's only certain circumstances in which I can approach him and be like, hey, can you not do that? So, and unfortunately, those circumstances aren't readily met right now. But what I can do is say, hey, don't do weird incest shit to your family members. It's weird that I have to come on here and say that. That's so weird. That's a weird thing that I have to say. But if you're an older person and you are used to doing like a fucking incestual thing to your cousin, maybe don't do that anymore. It's gross. I know you're trying to get a rise out of that cousin. You're not even doing, like, it's not out of pleasure or sexual gratification. It's all out of like, oh, they don't like it. Yeah, maybe don't do that shit no more. Like, knock that off. Like, stop doing that. It's gross. It's really gross. And then the last thing I'll say is old people in general. Old people in general, you got to recognize your limitations when it comes to drinking.
Yes.
Y'all are not the spring chickens that y'all thought y'all were. Like, I'm up here drinking. I'm like I have no problem with admitting that I'm really, really intoxicated right now. But I'm not drunk. I would never come on this podcast in a professional manner and be drunk. You know why? Because I understand my drinking limitations. I'm 34. I've only been on this earth for 34 years. I've only been drinking for, let's say, 27 years.
That's a long time.
It's not good math. I'm not good at math. I think that might be too long.
That's too long.
I was trying to do the math from 13 to 34.
That's still too long. 13?
13 to 30. 13
That's
to 34.
Too early.
What is, all right, so 14 to 34 is 20.
Yeah.
So that's 22 years. I've been on this earth for 34 years, and I've been drinking for 22 years.
That's not good.
Not looking for... My point is, I've only been on this earth for a finite amount of years, and I can drink myself to a specific point and then get on this podcast and have a cogent, cohesive, coherent conversation with my partner, Ode, and to the viewers and the listeners. If you find yourself where you're drinking to the point where you're falling over or having arguments with your fucking loved ones, then y'all are drinking too much. And also, like, I have no respect for you, no offense. Like, I'm a firm believer that everybody should know what their limits are and understand what their limits are and work within those limits. And that's with a lot of things. but I'm only focusing on drinking. If you're old enough to drink and you've been drinking for a long time, like 60 years, your ass should know, like, hey, this is where I am at after a beer. This is where I am at after a shot. This is where I'm at after Ray and Nephew. You need to know where you're at with each and every alcohol that you have. You need to fucking be cognizant. Because I refuse to hold fucking 30 and under 20-year-olds. I refuse to hold their hair while they throw up in the toilet. When I was in college, I refused to hold my girlfriend's hair when she was throwing up in the toilet. She wanted a piece of bread. I said, all right, it's right there. Go get it. And that's not to say that I never passed the threshold. I did. I had to in order for me to know what my fucking barriers were. And I learned that shit young, and then I proceeded forward as I got older. So, old people, fucking know what your limits are. Because there's nothing, I'm going to say this from my heart, there's nothing more embarrassing than your children having to deal with you when you're drunk. There's nothing more embarrassing than dealing with a parent who's drunk. Just straight up.
Yeah.
It's
I agree.
fucking embarrassing.
I agree.
It's embarrassing.
I agree.
It's embarrassing. And I don't have the fucking drop because I haven't. I'll do it tomorrow when it's my last day at work and I'm going to spend the whole day editing podcasts because I'm not actually going to work. And I'm just going to take my laptop and actually just do podcast shit. But there is a drop that says you've got to do better. Do better. Do fucking better. To all you old niggas. All of y'all. And it's worse if you're old niggas who have children. Like, do better. If you have children who are adults who drink and they're better at drinking than you gotta do better. That's just facts. You gotta do better. Do better. You've got to do better, Senator. Do better. I ain't do that for my best friend who was asking for bread after we went out at Pure. She went to my place and she was like, oh my God, I need bread. Can you give me bread? And I'm like, I have potato bread, but it's for sandwiches. If I didn't give them that courtesy at 22, what makes you think I'm going to do that at 34? So, do better. Do fucking better. All right? I'm done.
Okay.
What's your thing?
So I will say I'm piggybacking off of you and saying yes, do better, because I think that it's very important to recognize your limits. Because I know for me, at 34, I know the limit of drinking that I like to get to and that I don't like to go above, because I don't like that feeling. I don't like the feeling of being out of control. I don't like the feeling of feeling sick. I don't like the feeling of being like, oh, if I'm drinking one more thing and I can't remember. Like, I don't like that. The next day, I want to be able to remember all the stuff that happened, funny or not. I don't want to be like, oh shit, I got black spots, right? But you have to do better. It's so important. It's not like I just want our parents, if you are born 1970 and up, please go to therapy.
Or before.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And up. Like 70 and up. Please.
70 and below, right?
No, because like 70.
Up is like 70, 71, 72.
Oh, when I say up, I mean like prior. Okay, 1970 and prior. Please go to therapy. Please.
Y'all all need therapy. All of y'all niggas need therapy.
We need you to go to therapy.
All of y'all need therapy.
It's so
all
important.
of y'all. Fucking falling, making scrapes on your knees and shit. Y'all all need therapy.
We just need you to do that because it's important. And we want you to be safe. We want you to be healthy. And we love you. And if you're causing issues with your other family members, that's a problem. Because why? Because there's a thing. Siblings are siblings are siblings are siblings, regardless whether you're 2 and 5.
Yo, if you want to die alone, keep doing what you're doing.
Whether you're 2 and 5 or you're 70 or 75.
Y'all are really leaning on the idea that your fucking children are gonna come speak at your fucking funeral. No, I'm gonna keep it 100. It's easy to fucking burn a body, put it into a fucking bag, a fucking bodega bag, and just dump that shit ever.
I think that it's like the people.
Be better.
Be
better to all of your fucking family and shit.
Because it's the thing is that people.
You don't want to fucking die alone. Don't.
1970 and up. I feel like because their parents had this idea of like, regardless of how I treated you, you have to take care of me. And it's not that I don't believe that you should not take care of your parents. I do. I think that it's very important. I do.
That might be a conversation we'll have to have later.
But I think that like, even though I believe we need to take care of our parents, they also have to take accountability for their behavior and the things they do that might cause alienation. That's important. Now that's I'm not
having a fucking angry ass old man inside my apartment who's like, well, back in my day, the fucking we would never have the Marvels. And I'm like, if you don't shut the fuck up, you old nigga, and just like fucking eat your applesauce where you crunched up your fucking dialysis pills inside of the fucking medicine in order to eat the fucking pills.
But outside of that, I would say the issue I have this week, the thing that has been making me angry, is that it's men. It's just men. It's men, and I have to go into work, and I have to deal with men within that space and time. Like, today, and I'm going to show you what I'm wearing. I'm going to show you. Look. This is a regular.
I mean, to be fair, you're wearing clothing.
I'm wearing clothing. Regular clothing. And... you should be ashamed for that. I go out of my office to go get lunch, and this man literally tries to touch me, which is like, no, why? Why are you trying to? If you want to talk to somebody on the street, use your words. You don't need to touch me. You never need to touch me. That's
it's your fault, because how dare you?
Come outside.
No, how dare you being born with big titties and then wear an outfit where your titties even show a little bit.
And then when I'm inside the office.
How dare you? That's upset. Like, that upsets me.
It's like
I'm upset. I'm upset.
I'm outside the office and one of the corner boys tries to touch me. I'm inside the office and this old man's telling me how much, ooh, I love your smile. I love that. That's so great. Keep smiling. Leave me alone. Stop perceiving me. Let me just be inside the place that I am. I am here to work. You're here doing whatever you're doing. It's not my business. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why you're
better
here.
than I should ask, is it better than being told that you should smile more?
No, because at the end of the day, you commenting on my smile, how smiling I am compared to everybody else, is still a thing. And I don't want to deal with it. And I don't like it. I don't like having to be put in positions where I either am feeling scared for my physical safety or I'm feeling nervous about like my career safety. Because if I am outside and some man tries to touch me and I'm like, no, I'm worried he's going to try to hit me or throw something at me or whatever. If I'm in a building and now I'm also getting spoken to by a man in a way that I feel is inappropriate, now I'm feeling like worried that if I say something, now I'm going to look crazy because they're like, well, he's just being nice. And I don't want any of it. Keep your comments to yourself. It's unnecessary. It's weird. It's gross. I just want to go into work, do my work, and leave. And thirdly, if you're going to have a fucking fire drill, make sure that everyone can clearly hear and see you. Because I had a fire drill today, and I'm going to tell you, if I was supposed to be following whatever stupid rules or regulations the fire marshal had, I would be dead. You know why? Because I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't hear anything, and I couldn't see anything. And if you're going to have a fire drill, you need to make sure that people are clearly able to digest the information. No one's going to be able to understand anything if there's thousands of people around them talking and chatting. I can't hear, so that means I don't know what you're talking about. And if there were a real emergency, I know I'm getting out. Personally, I'm leaving. But everybody else, I mean, I can't tell them. So I can't tell what's going to happen. So that's what pissed me off this week. That's what had me annoyed. And I just wish people would do better. Leave folks alone and let everybody just be who they are without I shouldn't have to think about, like, I am wearing.
No, agreed.
Like,
everybody should just allow people to be who they want to be without
comment.
Without comment.
Yes.
Without comment or physical action. With that being said, is that everything that's bothering you?
Yes.
All right. Well, now it's time for the things that made us happy this week.
I'm the baby merchant, tots are us. I give you all the service and no damn fuss. Give the baby merchant just a week or two. I'll have your baby for you.
I went first last time. You go first this time.
All right, my number one things that are making me happy this week is Ketandu, Ezenwa, Kelechi, Angio4. My baby has turned 1. And let me tell you, his birthday was very fun. It was a great time. And cherry on top, he kissed me. He never kisses anybody except for his mom and dad, but he kissed me. I am the chosen one. He loves me. I love him, and I can't wait to see him again.
Yeah. No, it was
cute.
It was adorable, and it was fun that you hijacked this 1-year-old birthday party.
I did not hijack his birthday party.
You are in every photo. You're in every photo. You're in every photo of this 1-year-old's birthday party, to the point where the mother has pointed out she's not in any of the photos.
She's in some photos with him.
She's in some of the photos.
Listen, here's the thing.
What is the ratio of you being in the photos and her being in the photos?
I don't know.
Like it is literally.
She had this baby for me.
Well, you love Beyonce. What's the name of the movie that Beyonce was in? Obsession.
I'm obsessed with him. I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with Kada.
There we go.
From now until forever.
Okay.
That's never going to change. He makes me happy every day, all day. Okay? So seeing him, getting to see my family and their babies, because they are also super cute. Also, being able to just spend time with the people I love all together and getting them be able to meet each other and talk to each other and spend time. I feel like that has been the highlight of my week. But I'm going to share some things that made me happy in the news this week. The one of the Central Park Five, Yusef Salam, has won a seat on the New York City Council. So congratulations to him. The SAG-AFTRA strike. SAG-AFTRA strike is over. There's some weird things with AI, but in general, they have worked through the strike. They've made a compromise. They're going to get to start back to work. So we'll be able to get more movies and shows, etc., that are fresh and new. I can't wait for that. Also, we went to see Jon Stewart and Black Thought, a.k.a. Tariq Trotter, because he has a new book called The Upcycled Life. And to me...
Shout out to books that will be... shout out to books. I would just put it that way. I would just put it at shout out to books.
Personally, I felt that it was a great conversation.
It was a dope conversation.
As someone, listening to it as a creative and getting to understand, I think that to me, a lot of parallels between what he talked about in his life and my own, and how he is able to move to kind of take the things that have happened to him, ingratiate them into his art, and has come out better for it. And that was, to me, was really powerful. And just it gave me more, I don't want to say more credence, but like,
I would like to believe that it gave more creative fuel.
Creative fuel. I think that's a good word. It gave creative fuel because it's like, regardless of what you've been through, regardless of what you have going on, you always have the possibility of moving forward and trying something out that's different, that's new, regardless of what anyone has to say about it. And I appreciated that.
Agreed.
What about you? What made you happy this week?
So what made me happy this week, in the past week, I have spent time with you, which has been fun. I went to the Jon Stewart Black Thought. I was given bare information, and that bare information led me to believe that it would be a musical sort of interaction. But what I got was really dope. And that's fine. And I appreciate that. I appreciate what I got. Shout out to all my friends who have been helping me through my shit. And also shout out to The Curse, which is a really good
it's really
show.
Funny. I like that.
It's a really good show.
Yeah.
I say everybody should watch it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, thank you for the last bit of tranquility before I start my new job.
Yes. Well, I would say I always have fun doing this podcast with you and always have fun spending time with you.
Yeah.
And that always brings me joy.
All right. Sounds good. And I always have fun doing this podcast with you. No, seriously. I always do have fun doing this podcast with you. And it's fun and it's enjoyable. And I can't wait until the next time we do it. So, with that being said, that's everything. Take it easy. Keep it sleazy.
Thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like to contact the podcast, you can reach us via email at blackandsnerdypodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Black and Snerdy Podcast, as well as on Twitter at Black and Snerdy. You can find me, Maurice, on all social media under the handle Licorish is Legit. That's LICORISH is legit.
And you can find me on Instagram. It's ThatsOD, THATSOD.E. And on Twitter, THATSOD_E. And don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe to us. Tune in next time to the Black and Snerdy Podcast, where nerds of a feather flock together.
Remember?
Bye.
Boy.
Not yet.
No, this is keeping it. We're keeping this in. Don't forget to take your meds and your subs and drink water. Bye.
Bye.
I actually want to keep that.